Man, this is so important because now it's been confirmed. It's been confirmed by Spirit. It's been confirmed by you. And I think I have some cacao in my teeth. Sorry about that. And I just want to make a shout out. Like, this video is both dedicated and brought to you by one of my greatest current supporters in my YouTube channel, Lay Bling 1111. Girl, thank you for seeing me, thank you for hearing me, thank you for taking the time to spend this with me, thank you for receiving the messages that are coming through, thank you for allowing yourself to be receptive enough for these messages to come through and for you to receive what needs to be heard. And you know, for the rest of you that are here, don't be afraid to show that you're here and interact with me, because it could lead to some really great things. And if you're real about where you're at and you can comment honestly, it's very likely that I will make a video around what, if you want. But, you know, it's coming up that it's more than just me who's struggling and at war inside myself. It's more than just me feeling all these things, which is why I share them with you guys, because I do feel like there's significance here. And I'm learning to honor my gift, and thank you, Leilu Bling. You know who you are, and I'm super grateful for you. Because you are my confirmation to keep going, even when the world seems against me. And I just wholeheartedly and genuinely want to give you the greatest and most appreciation and shout out for all of your love and support that you bring to this channel. It's helping me. It's helping my confidence grow in what I'm offering. And so thank you. I want to talk about being at war within ourselves and how that significantly is ruining our lives. As I said that, my throat, I can feel like the throat chakra starts to get a little cranky. Sorry guys, I've been drinking a lot of cacao and I think it's giving me a lot of gas. Oh no, it's my protein. I had protein pancakes this morning. It always makes me gassy, and then I'm sitting here just burping with you guys. Anyways, I'm gonna try not to be so gassy on camera. Being at war with yourself sucks big donkey, and it's a sensitive subject, so like trigger warning. Normally I wouldn't say these things, but it feels appropriate because I don't know, Spirit be bringing it to my attention right now, so I'm just gonna listen to that. And maybe because I'm just like out here dealing with all my shit and I don't give anybody warning because I'm just like in it. Welcome to working through Randy's trauma. Yeah, like if you're somebody at war within yourself and you know that war and you're experiencing it like on a day-to-day basis or a moment-to-moment basis, and you know, I'll speak briefly on my experience and you can see if this is going to resonate for you or not. You should already know though, we are 4 minutes in. And my rambles are just like full these days, so I'm gonna let them be full for whatever reason, because there's medicine coming through me, and I am learning that like it's not worth controlling, it's just worth me like letting the river run, right? Like I'm the channel. And so being at war within ourselves, for me that looks like having like an intuitive, I did it this morning even. I've become really aware of it too. So this is fun when you can gain more awareness of that little war, right? So my intuition was like, take Blue for a walk. And then I went, no, I'm not feeling good. Like it doesn't feel, maybe I'll take him to the park instead. That's easier. I can let him off leash. He can just run around for a bit while I chill. I've been feeling under the weather and just my body's really calling me to, just less. And I was like, but I'm hungry. Like my stomach's growling. I'll take him to the park later. And so it's like, I see being at war inside myself, how I'm experiencing it is my body will tell me one thing, or like I will have an intuitive nudge or an inspiration, be like, go for a nice walk, or go for a short walk, or whatever. And then I'll fight that. And then by me resisting that, suddenly I'm like stubbing my toe and I miss the bus or whatever, right? That looks like for you. I don't take the bus, but it'll basically be like an intuitive, like, do this. And then my thoughts will combat it. And then that combating ends up like in this like glitchy, it's like reaching to grab the cup and then being like, no, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't drink that right now. I should wait 5 minutes. And then being like weirdly in this like 5 minutes reaching for the cup, fighting the brain, right? And I know I'm not the only one. So I know you hear me, whoever you are listening. And it's better just to like grab the cup and then be like, told you that's cold. You didn't want it. But at least there's no resistance, right? There's no like getting trapped in this like, what do I do? Just do it, right? And if you're at that war inside yourself, and I don't know, let's talk about that in a more severe manner would be, let me think about this for a second. Whoa. So I think the more severe case of that would be like having this opportunity presented to you to start a new job or to get a promotion or to do this new creative pursuit. All right? But in order for you to do that, it takes a little bit of courage or a lot. It takes confidence. It takes you getting your ass out the door and getting to that place, right? And sometimes when we go to war inside ourselves, as you all know, the resistance, this is funny because I was just talking about being resistant to being tired. So this is it's all, I'm pretty sure I made another video this morning as well that was like about being resistant to how you're feeling and just like letting yourself feel how you're feeling. Anyways, so it's all coming back to the same place. Coming back, resist nothing. Is like a huge communication that Spirit's bringing through right now as I'm like sitting in my little cozy corner. And our resistance is that like, and you get stuck in the in-between. And so if that's something that's like a reaction, because it's trained and programmed into us is to just like resist, like fear, right? Survival mode kicks in and we're like, don't do that. It's scary. Like that's not who I am, or that's not what I do, or that's not how I identify. You know, like I'll use YouTube as an example. I'm feeling really called to really put a lot of energy into my YouTube channel. And one of the things that would come up for me to resist that calling was like, I'm not a YouTuber. I don't, whatever beliefs followed that fear of like putting myself out there, or like, who am I to, or why would anybody want to listen to me? And I'm, realizing more and more, especially with all of you that continue to like, follow and come back to my new videos and are like returning subscribers, returning viewers, that genuinely, or even like new people that just interact. But the more interaction I have, the more I see that this is actually creating impact for people, which is why it's important. Which is why like people's interacting is important on social media. And but you know, I have so much resistance. I had so much resistance, and it was like the war inside of ourselves is not going to be solved by like beating it, you know? It's not meant to overcome. We're not meant to overcome this, like, no, we're meant to just like drop the fucking sword, put down the gloves, like whatever part of you is fighting, honey, we don't have to fight anymore, because the only one that you're fighting is you. And I know that's hard. I know it's excruciating. I know it's scary. You know, and the best thing you can do when those feelings start to arise is just like hold space for them. Let them exist. One of the reasons YouTube feels like such a significant road for me to take is because, one, eventually I can start making money this way. And that supports me putting out what I know I have to offer the world for free. Meaning you can receive it for free, I can give it for free, and I can make money from the advertisers or whatever eventually. And so everything feels in alignment with this platform. Once I saw like, oh my God, anybody out there who could just access this can get this healing, can get this. And so maybe I'll make that more of a priority here, is just to like hold space. Just boom, I love that. I'm gonna write that down. Hold space videos, because I know like we all are working through stuff, and it's really hard to come into a space to work through that stuff and feel all the stuff that comes up while somebody else is like on the other line. And so I'm just gonna do that generally right here. I'm gonna do that just, you know, and even saying that, I can feel energetically you here with me. I could feel the energy of like transmutation happening. That's a lot of what I do with my clients. Unconsciously, I identified it as like transmutation. Call it what you want. But holding space is like creating that safe container for all that bullshit to exist, whether it's anxiety, exhaustion, chaos, fear, turmoil, suffering. You know, it's a safe container where it's allowed to exist. And if we don't know how to create those safe containers, we never allow that stuff to exist, when in reality, like, it's there. It's a part of this life experience. It's a part of this path. It's a part of our human development, personal growth, whatever you want to call it, right? It's a part of that, the yin and the yang, the light and the dark. They need each other to thrive. They need each other. And so we have to learn how to create this safe container. I love where this is going. So thank you so much for being with me. Oh my God, this is so exciting. I really love when these little tangents just like phew, in the right direction. So not to get us off course too far with all this gratitude. Yes, learn how to create this safe container for yourself. And for me, that's like sitting in my cozy corner right here. And I have like, I'll pull some oracle cards. I have, you know, and so to create this little safe container for you. And first, this video started off with like trying not to be at war with yourself, but maybe this is it. Maybe this is the solution. Not that it needs a solution. It just needs to be loved, right? And so I guess we're just in the channel of receiving how to create that space of love. Sorry, I get sweaty, and like when energy starts flowing, I get hot and sweaty. And so creating this space, often for me, like I always light a candle. I like to buy like the really big ones and then watch them shrink. I get like the non-scented, you get beeswax or whatever, right? They say like candle wax, blah, 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 is bad for you. But I connect with the flame. That to me signifies spirit. And I mean, I guess you could get the little light ones, but anyways, we could the way to create this space is just with intention. Okay, it doesn't matter the tools you have or don't have. So like for me, obviously, I'm that's it's a very spiritually based space for me. It's very sacred. It's very ceremonial. So I have things like, singing bowls and rain sticks, because sometimes in this safe space, you need some extra help, right? So if you're in this space with me right now, one, I'm holding space and helping you move through whatever discomfort's coming up for you right now. And two, I'm also hopefully helping you learn how to create this safe space for yourself. And so I think there's like some pretty basic foundations to creating a safe space. One, connect yourself to the greater beyond, or that place that is, whatever is beating your heart for you right now. Connect to that. And that could be through a candle. That could be through, lighting an incense. That could be through just like saying, I call in spirit, I call in God, I call in the divine, I call in universal support, I call in my spirit team, my angels, archangels, ancestors, right? You can just call them in and allow their presence to be felt, and so call that in. That's the first element, is like calling in that divine support and saying like, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm creating a safe container to move through this stuff, to hold this uncomfortable stuff that's a part of life. And the reason we create a container is so that it stops coming up over here, and while we're at work, and when we're out with friends, and while we're on our first date or whatever. You create space for it to come up here, and then it doesn't come up so much inconveniently over there. And so that's also what I do with my clients, right? That's a huge part of like what I do for people. But it feels good to just also help you guys create that for yourself, if financial or whatever it is that makes it hard for you to meet that with somebody else, right? Whether it's therapy or whatever, we're all sacred space holders in some way, shape, or form. And so connect to the divine. Two, you need cleansing. You need some kind of cleansing. So like I have Palo Santos. I also have, I just make this. I put like lavender in a spray bottle with some water, and I write cleanse on it. It's kind of wiped away now. But it's just like intentional water, basically, that smells really good. That helps me relax. And so you could just put water in a spray bottle and write the word cleanse on it, or like purge or whatever, like, but be mindful, the intentions that you put into things do hold like very potent power. And you can play around with that with yourself if you feel like exploring that. Maybe I'll make a video about it later. But intentions are really powerful, real powerful. So you be careful what you wish for. So cleansing sprays, herbs, Palo Santos, like showers are really good after holding sacred space to help you cleanse. You always just want to be like clearing out the energies that, especially the denser energies that we're dealing with, the denser emotions, whatever. So cleansing, connecting, and then for me, I like to always have a notebook on hand or a journal. My phone is like another part of that. Recording like video journaling, voice memos. You can record your voice, just having some way to exert. Even if you're not recording it anywhere, you could just simply be talking to yourself. So a lot of the times when after I've lit my candle, burn my Palo Santos and like sink into that discomfort, being at war with myself. Let's bring that up again, because that feels significant here. And really what I'm doing is just like allowing myself to sink into the uncomfortability of that, of being at war with myself. And sometimes like noises and stuff wants to come out, right? When you just sit there with it. And what I'm doing in this moment is like basically nothing. I'm just sinking into it. And it often feels excruciating. It often feels scary. It often feels like terrifying, and I feel breathless sometimes. And I just remind myself to take a deep breath, and I'm really tuned in to like having one hand here and one hand here. It's like how I reassure myself that I'm safe. It's how I'm like physically, I'm like holding myself basically. And so if that feels good for you, I invite you to do that, and just find that sense of like you being with you, like I got you, and however that is, it's always for me, like even switching that doesn't feel right. Like it's this, I'm like holding that emotional brain, and I'm holding my heart, which also has its own neural network, right? So it's like I'm holding almost both emotional brains, you could say, because the heart also can store memories, right? We found out that the heart has a neural network just like the brain. And the gut obviously is, as most of us are familiar, listen to your gut, right? That's like your intuitive brain, your emotional brain. And so holding these two, I got my right hand on my gut, left hand on my heart. And it really is like they're holding it down right now. Like these two hands are just like holding it down. It's like when the chaos wants to, right? And so when we're in our safe space, we want something that is like self-soothing. Sometimes it's rocking. All these little like motions and movements are really good for the nervous system. And the greatest thing about holding a safe space for yourself is you're allowed to say like that's enough. You're allowed to say I'm at capacity. You're allowed to say like that's all I have for today. That's all the energy I could put into this today. And that's the greatest thing is like I think we get lost thinking like we have to sit there until it goes away, or we have to sit there until like all the trauma is relieved, or we have to sit there until like, no, I think it's just about acknowledging it, and just the acknowledgement tends to relieve the pain or the suffering that's happening, right? And you kind of just sit there until it feels relieved. And if you don't get to that relief, but you hit like a wall or a ceiling, you could say you hit your ceiling, you could be like, wow, like that was intense and that's all I have for today. And I will resume when the timing feels appropriate, right? We also don't want to like go into the garden and start ripping out trauma just for the heck of it, right? We want to feel like it's in alignment with where we're at, which is why today that felt really resonant with me, is because I had that comment from my greatest YouTube channel supporter, and it spoke to me because I feel the same, right? We all are at war inside our heads a little bit, and maybe that is the greatest prison, is the one that we don't know that we're in. And healing that comes with healing it and freeing ourselves from the prison that we have been trained to keep ourselves in. How funny is that? Because it's only you and you. That is simply done by this practice. And so make sure, you go through your practice and you can cleanse and have a shower or a bath. Water is a really, really powerful cleanser, a really powerful recharger. So if you're ever like really struggling, have a sacred bath, like set the intention that this bath will be sacred and will cleanse me. I always used to go in the bath and say, I'd repeat, restore, recharge, rejuvenate, cleanse, restore, recharge, rejuvenate, cleanse. And I'd probably sit there for like 30 minutes and just chant these words in my head. And I'd come out feeling just like brand spanking new. And so, yeah, I know one of the things about like when we're at war inside ourselves, and this is me coming to you after having done a lot of work. If you're at war inside yourself at the extent of like you're just suffering a lot, I want to say 99% of the time, what you are living inside your head has become a toxic environment. All right, I'm going to just say that right out. It feels heavy, but it has. If that's how if you're suffering from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed inside of yourself, you need to start to change that toxic environment in your head, okay? And one of the, like, if you really want to do it, it's going to take a little bit of work and a lot of efforting, you could say, and maybe not a lot of efforting. Maybe it's easier said. Maybe it's easier than I've made it out to be. But right, the brain makes it harder. That's the thing. That's the, that's the struggle. Let yourself like recognize, like be honest, ask yourself, am I living in a toxic environment inside my head? Is this do I have an inner sanctuary? Or am I just living in like a toxic environment and like letting people live in this toxic, letting the voices live there and for free? And what is taking up space in your brain that is not paying rent, that is not conducive to your healing, to your growth? What is not serving you that's inside of there? And if it's like all of it, I feel for you, because I lived this way for a very long time. I've been in the coming out of it for a very long time, I want to say. And it's like a constant needing to, like, that environment in which you're living in needs to change 100%. Not 25%, not 5%, not like 10%. No, like 100%. And so one of the things I've recognized throughout my journey, my spiritual journey, my journey as, becoming an earth guide and really embodying my gifts and reconnecting back to myself is there's a lot of dense, right? I'm feeling the heaviness. I'm feeling, because it's a lot. It's a lot. We've been doing it, and it's so, and I know that, I know. Like, it hurts. It's uncomfortable. It's like, you want to, and you can even see me like getting uncomfortable in my own body because it's bringing up my stuff, right? And I think that's a part of it, is like we want to hold space for that. If you're here with me, thank you so much. You're basically just like watching me ride the emotional waves of like how I lose myself and come back. Oh gosh, and it gets really uncomfortable sometimes. And it's cool to be here with you guys right now because it's really helping me bring myself back. Having the awareness of like experiencing and also watching the experience, right? Because I have the perception of like me speaking to you and then you also viewing me, and so that's really interesting. It's an interesting concept of experiencing what I'm navigating. Oof. And once I bring myself back, I feel better. right? But it's really easy to let the water boil if we let it. And so, where was I? Oops. So, in order to cleanse out the toxicity, you need to get clear about what is creating toxicity in that environment, right? So negative thought loops, negative thinking patterns, how you talk to yourself is probably number one, I would say, the language in which you use. One of the things that felt really significant throughout the healing of that within myself was I would recognize that the voice talking to me isn't mine. It was actually like my mom's or my dad's or like a teacher's or my old perception of God as like the man who bad kittied you. And yeah, I realized it wasn't my voice. And so I would hear the voice come up and be like, oh, you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't blah, blah, blah. And I would say, who do you think you are telling me how to live my life? And so I started getting like a little bit more playful with it and was like, who do you think you are? Like, no, like combating it in a way. And so I wouldn't say that's going to work for everybody, but you know, if you got some nasty voices in your head and you start to talk to them like they're not you, you will stop responding to them like it's you talking to you. Right? And for me, I would always I'd hear the nasty voice and I'd shrink and shrink and shrink. Whereas now I hear the nasty voice and I'm like, the fuck did you just say? No. You are not going to talk to me like that. Like, I don't care who you are or where you come from. It was basically like having to stand up for yourself. Right? So a part of like cleansing out this toxic environment and can really be, at least I'm going to name some things that really helped me, and you can pick or choose what might work for you and what resonates for you. That's the biggest part of this journey, is listening to what you need, okay? No matter what internet person says to you, and so tap in, take a deep breath with me. And as I fire out this stuff, to see where your body is like, yes, I want to try that. Okay. So cleansing the toxic internal environment, or the internal environment that's become toxic. I use things like meditation, breath work, going to the gym, working out, running, lifting weights, yoga, movement, dance, affirmations, affirmation music especially. I like to pump myself up, listen to good music, right? You are living the soundtrack. Whatever soundtrack is playing in the background of your mind, that's what you're living your life to. So recreating that soundtrack and immersing yourself in that soundtrack. And these aren't things that I want you to try and fit into your busy schedule. No, these are things that I want you to micro integrate, which is while you're sitting there studying in school, or while you're sitting there doing your work, do your breath work. Or while you're going for your morning walk, put on some ankle weights, or while you're, you know what I mean? There's ways to micro integrate these things without trying to fit an entire calendar into your already full calendar. Music and dance. I put on these headphones. Clearly, you guys see them a lot. When I'm listening to my music, that's when I get into the channel, and that's how I end up making videos with these headphones on, is because I'm just I get into that space. Anyways, I'm side trailing. But where was I? Music, affirmation music. I have playlists, affirmation playlists, SoundCloud playlists. Everything I listen to is for my benefit. And so I will share that in the description box below if you want to check it out. right? So basically, all of these things are like just immersing yourself with like creating a better internal environment. And a lot of the times, I think being at war with ourselves is because we are powerful beings that never got taught how to channel our power. So, like the monkey mind and like the mind being untrained is like the power that didn't get channeled. And I feel like we're all just like suffering. What do they call that? The crazy genius, or what do you call that? You know what I mean? Like the suffering genius. I think we're all a suffering genius because we actually just don't know how to exert and express what's going on. And that's why we get to war at ourselves. That's why we start to like, we get confused and we're like, oh, I don't know which direction to take life in. And that's why this is so significant, is to like create these little practices that help you integrate a more peaceful internal sanctuary. And don't get me wrong, like I've been struggling with it myself for a very long time. And at one point the voices got so loud, like I had affirmations everywhere. I had, the mirror stickers and the sticky notes and the music and I watched the documentaries and I listened to the podcasts, and it still wasn't enough. Like I did my morning workout, my morning yoga, my breath work, blah, 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 blah. It still didn't work. And one of the things I realized to work for me specifically is right after my meditation, from the minute I wake up, I have to start drowning out the thoughts. And so maybe this is, if it resonates, if it feels like a yes in your body, then take this with you and lead forward with it, because there's so much power to finding what aligns for you and then listening to that call and watching it unfold for you is so amazing. And so waking up in the morning, the minute you wake up, if you were like me and you were feeling, or you would just like wake up, I would wake up with anxiety. It's coming up even right now when I speak about it. Clearly a once space held. I would wake up with anxiety, and the minute I wake up and feel that, it's like the brain is already running the program that is making me suffer. And it would happen the minute I woke up. And so the minute I woke up, I would put on these affirmations. My favorite right now is 222 affirmations. You can find them on YouTube. And they have so many on there, different voices and people, which is cool too, because sometimes I don't want to listen to like a female voice or a more male voice or whatever. And they just start, and I'll just listen to it while I'm getting ready, while I'm doing my yoga, if I'm doing breath work, and I'll just listen to like, today's going to be a good day and good things are coming to me. And I just keep all day, every day, I will put on all that affirmation music, all of the YouTube, all of the, even while you're sleeping, you can do self-hypnosis, subconscious reprogramming. What's the other one you can do? Anyways, there's tons. There's tons and tons. And so it's basically like, even when you're sleeping, I would do like the 10-hour subconscious reprogramming sleep meditation. So it's like, while I'm sleeping, there are affirmations in my brain that are like, I can do this. I am healing. I have everything I need. I am courageous, because those were opposite what my voice were telling me in the waking day. And so find at least one thing. I think that's why affirmations are so powerful. It's not that we want to convince ourselves like, when you're not happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. No, affirmations are at least my way of immersing myself in better thoughts and better thinking and like a more positive mindset, you could say, when I'm drowning in negativity and when I'm drowning in suffering. And so if one of these speak to you, I really hope in some way, shape, or form there's some value here for you to take from it. I know this was a really long one. And then another big one in there is diet. I find a lot of my depression and my anxiety and my dysfunction internally comes from white sugar. bleached sugars. And so I even have a friend recently that was like, I get nightmares when I eat white sugar. And I thought that was really interesting because when I was coming off of drug addiction and reprogramming my subconscious, coming out of drug addiction, I would start to have nightmares every time I would like do a drug that I was trying to quit, or I had like quit and then I would do just like, oh, just a little bit. I would have like these extreme nightmares of me dying or something like that. And so it's just telling me like that's the body's way of being like, yo, you can't undo the reprogram. Like you just told the body over and over and over, this is bad for me. I can't do this anymore. And then you try to do it and the body it won't take it. It'll reject it. And so same thing with like when we subconsciously reprogram for negativity, it just won't allow you, when you do that reprogramming, it won't allow it anymore. And so that's where it holds such significance, because sure, like you put in the work for 6 months, but that 6 months is going to last you a lifetime. And eventually you don't have to, press play first thing in the morning to drown out the chatter that you've been practicing for the last 3 years. Eventually the new chatter that you've been practicing will take over and hopefully lessen the war in the mind. Man, I really hope this video has supported you in some way, shape, or form, or added value to your life, maybe a little bit of entertainment, if anything of that. I think I'm going to pull a little card here and just like whoever's here with me, and if you're dealing with this stuff, we're going to let a little medicine card come through and just see if there's something that could be said and support you on your journey. I love oracle cards. I love talking to spirit. I love it, love it, love it. We're here. I got Big J, my homeboy Bray, and Muji. Muji's still on Earth, I think, but he's always a spirit guide up in here because I love him. And yeah, my brother Big J. I mean Jesus when I say Big J. I don't say that like in a rude way either. I genuinely and wholeheartedly feel like he is my brother, and giving him a nickname makes him feel closer to me, and that's why I do that. The cards, wow, we have so many cards here, so I'm only going to read, I think I'm only going to read one of them. We have Wisdom, Elder. Maybe this is just coming through for y'all, I've never said y'all. Okay, so Elder, I'm going to even put this here so you guys can see it. Right, and so she's cleansing. Oh my gosh, so fun. This is like all the elements in which we want to call in. We want to call in the spirit. We want to call in a supporter. We want to call in that divine support. There's the cleansing. They're coming through cleansing. The sun, which is like illumination, right? Ancestral, cultural stuff. So wisdom, Mino Mimba Dizinzuin. I did not say that right. Walk in a good way. Realign. So even that, like walk in a good way. Maybe we don't even have to read these because it's already come through. But that's just it. It's like that's coming correct. I keep saying it. Coming correct inside yourself is it's hot up here. Is allowing yourself to get honest. Okay, like this is where I'm at and it's not fitting, it's not working for me anymore, like I can't do this anymore. So that in itself, that honesty, like just being like, I'm not in a good place. Okay, excuse me, I'm so sorry guys. And then Trailblazer, Thunderbird Vision. The Trailblazer is all about blazing an unseen trail. Like this is not a paved path that you're walking. I get that. There is no map. There's no guideline. You do have a map. You just can't physically see it. You can feel it. And so when you feel in this direction and it feels bad, that's your map saying, go the other way. And you feel in this direction and it also feels bad, that's your map saying, go another way, and you feel in this direction, and you're like, ooh, that feels with more ease and grace and flow, then go that direction. That's your map, right? And that's what we're doing. We're learning how to like navigate from the internal. Ancestral love right there, right? So the ancestors and like spirit is coming through heavy right now, just being like, we are here for you, we are supporting you, tending. Yeah, so there, it's like a huge theme amongst these cards right here is everything that I've already talked about, which is so significant, right? It's safe for you to walk an unpaved path. It's safe for you to walk in the dark, and you just need to acknowledge that, like, yeah, this is fucking scary. This is intense. Like, acknowledge that, be real with yourself about that, and allow yourself to realign with your truth, realign with what you can see, which is like what you can see and feel, which is like, oh, this is intense right now, but deep down, deep down, I know I'm going to be okay. And that comes from tending, right? Connecting with the divine, connecting with your spirit guides, connecting with Jesus, God, universal creator, whatever that energy is for you, connect. And that brings you back to like that foundational place where you know deep down everything's going to be okay, even when all around you seems not okay, even when the suffering in your head is like, this is, you know, let yourself realign with that honesty, getting real with yourself. That's a big thing of what I do in my practice and with my clients. And so if that's something you need more of, come back to my channel. I would love to support you in that redeveloping that foundational realignment within yourself, right? Which allows us, Blue's talking, he's hearing us, align with your wisdom, your elders, they're up in here, they're cleansing, right? So that's what we're doing. We're clearing out the clutter. They're coming through, helping us clear out the clutter. That's what this card is doing, right? He is fanning the sage around, helping it cleanse us while we take bold steps in realigning, right? That's why we're here. If you're here with me, you've already taken these bold steps forward with realigning. Trust the trail, even though you can't yet see it. You are a trailblazer. You are moving forward on a path that's unpaved, and you are creating the way for others to walk behind you. And ancestral love, tending. I'm so grateful to have made this video. I'm so grateful for everything that came through today. I really hope it held some value and support for you. I love you guys all so much. Mwah! Have a blessed rest of your day.